Okay, guys, this is part 2 of the video, Biden to bring in the Noah flood. All right, so we have the World Economic Forum is supposed to announce their plans for the Great Reset, which is the New World Order, this coming January, which is when Biden will be inaugurated. And it makes sense that Biden and Kamala won, and the French President Emmanuel Macron, who many Christians feel that he could really be the Antichrist, has released a statement stating or saying that he can't wait to work together with Biden and Kamala. The cable has started their war against us with the pandemic, and much worse will follow. What is prophesied must pass, and I've had dreams of which the end coming very soon. The time to get right with God, with Jesus, is now. Prepare yourselves and your family and friend for what is coming. None of us can even fathom what's about to happen. I'm just going to tell you that. Okay, so I've already read these and those. Now I get into some deeper stuff. All right, we've had Lebanon, which they considered a national second lockdown, and Israel decided that they were going to try and get into stage 3 and lift some of their restrictions. All right. Now, Biden, on the marketwatch.com, there's a list of a summary of Biden's pandemic plan. Guess what the very first one is? Push for a national mask mandate. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, and then, all right, we have... Here, I'm going to read you guys something that about knocked my socks off. This was yesterday. I got this. Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu congratulated Sunday morning Joe Biden for winning the 2020 U.S. elections, saying he looks forward to working with him and partner Kamala Harris to further strengthen the special alliance between the U.S. and Israel. Netanyahu stipulated the long and warm personal relationship he's had with Democrat Biden for nearly, listen to these numbers, 40 years, as he knows him as a great friend of Israel. Biden, which is 77, was projected to win the race after CNN and the Associated Press announced on Saturday that the former lawmaker had enough of a lead to win the state of Pennsylvania outright, pushing him over 270 electoral college threshold. Up until Sunday morning, Jerusalem has kept silence over the U.S. election results as incumbent President Donald Trump, who is considered a great friend of Netanyahu, has not been willing to concede defeat. That's because Biden stole his seat. You know, he didn't even have enough votes. Don't get me started on this. Granted, I'm not for Trump, but I'd rather have Trump because of him being used greatly by God. Okay? But with Biden in, we already know that this is judgment. So either way we go, we're screwed. So, prior to Netanyahu's remark, a number of Israel's politicians have publicly extended their congratulations to Biden, including opposition leader Yair Lapid, a lawmaker from prime ministers like a party. And then it says on Sunday morning, defense minister and alternate prime minister Benny Gantz joined the outpouring of support from the world leaders, saying that as the election results come final, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to Joe, a longtime supporter and friend of Israel, and to his running mate Kamala Harris, who has made history as the first woman elected vice president. There is nothing good to come from this. And if Israel actually thinks he's a friend, they were really deceived. So this is from the Jerusalem Post, and it says, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden greeted Pfizer Inc.'s experimental COVID-19 vaccine as excellent news on Monday, but warned that widespread vaccination remains months away and Americans need to continue wearing masks and maintain social distancing. Okay, today's news is great news, but it doesn't change the fact, Biden said in a statement, today's announcement promises the chance to change that next year, but the tasks before us now remain the same. Okay, so if he's planning on changing it, we know that pretty soon it's going to be mandatory vaccinations. Okay, and if it's months away just for the vaccine, that's a worldwide thing. So we know that we are in the Antichrist's time. Okay, that, you know, we are getting ready to watch everything fall in order for the Antichrist to rise. America has to be wiped off the map, okay? Because that's why we're not talked about at the rest of in the Bible, is because America, what we just do? We just committed the 7 abominations against God. Okay, the vaccine candidate has also been well received in the UK. Okay, and Britain expects to have 10 million doses of Pfizer BioNTech's candidate COVID-19 vaccine available by the end of the year if regulators approve it. Okay, and they've already been saying that they've distributed hundreds of thousands overseas, the needles and stuff, all right? And the spokesman said that Britain had now ordered, ordered 40 million doses, with 10 million of those doses being manufactured and available to the UK. All right, so there's that. And then right here, which I thought was pretty crazy, this actually just came out a little bit ago, and I'm just like, holy moly. It says COVID passports are coming, and our civil liberties may never be the same again. We all know that, okay? The World Health Organization, the WHO, recently admitted that lockdowns cause more harm than good. Following this announcement, one would have expected American politicians to immediately end the lockdowns. After all, the WHO's pronouncements are considered infallible so much that the social media hold on, I don't know what I did. That social media sites silence anyone who does the challenge. Okay, instead of admitting that the lockdowns were a mistake, many of the political class, which includes a disturbing number of medical professionals whose positions and prestige depend on government, claim that we cannot return to normalcy until a coronavirus vaccine is in wide use. And they're already talking about this being next year. Okay, so here I go. This suggests that people among the majority of Americans who do not wish to be vaccinated will remain under lockdown or be forced to be vaccinated against their will. That's the mark of the beast, guys. The assault on our liberty will not end with deployment and use of vaccine. Monsef Slayo, the chief advisor of the Trump administration's Operation Warp Speed, a public-private partnership in charge of producing and delivering a coronavirus vaccine, has said that those who receive a vaccine will be monitored by incredibly precise tracking systems. Slayo has also indicated that tech giants Google and Oracle will help the government keep tabs, in surveillance. So the vaccine program will lead to an increase in government surveillance. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. But they've even talked about taking our Second Amendment rights away, which we already know what's going to happen. We're getting ready to go into war. There's going to be civil disobedience, and they've already talked about a dark winter. Okay, so here I go. The American people, Slayo is just the latest expert to endorse forcing the American people to relinquish their few remaining scraps of privacy to stop coronavirus. Okay, and this Dr. Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates have urged development of a digital certificate for those vaccinated for coronavirus. People without the certificate would find their liberty severely restricted. Okay, Revelation 13:16, he shall cause all, both great and small. I'll just read it. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their hand or on their foreheads, and no one may buy or sell except who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, so, and those who think that the new surveillance system will be limited to coronavirus should remember that Social Security numbers were only supposed to be used to administer the Social Security program. They should also consider the Patriot Act's expansion of warrantless wiretaping was supposed to be limited to stopping terrorism. However, these powers have been used for a wide variety of purposes. Whenever government is in power to abuse our rights for one reason, it will inevitably use that power to abuse our rights for other reasons as well. Fossey and Gates' digital certificate would and likely will be expanded to include proof individuals have received a variety of other vaccines and medical treatments. The digital certificate could even extend to monitoring a person's lifestyle choices on the grounds that unhealthy habits make or one sustainable to diseases, similar to China's social score system, which monitors and rates every lifestyle decision you make. And that's another thing. They're saying that Biden's willing to sell America out to China, and if that's the case, communism right there. The digital certificate could also be tied to the Real ID program to deny individuals who have not been vaccinated the right to travel. It could also be combined with a future mandatory e-verify system to deny unvaccinated individuals the right to hold a job. Those who consider this paranoia should consider Britain is already developing a COVID passport. Liberty lost in the war on COVID will not be voluntarily returned when the coronavirus threat ends, assuming the government ever stops moving the goalpost and declares the coronavirus threat is over. Instead, the people must be prepared to take back their liberty from their politicians. Fortunately, we still have the ability to do so by the peaceful means of educating our fellow citizens and pressuring our elected officials to reserve course, which means we need to educate people on the Bible, okay, and what is coming. I'm not going to lie, there's not a whole lot more videos, there's not a lot more information that we can be given out to people that's new, because we've been running this through people's heads over and over and over again. Oh, you're just fear-mongering. Oh, you're doing this. Oh, you're doing that. Well, you know, when we are this close, what else are we supposed to do? Like, you can't buy, sell, or trade without it. That's the mark, and you will forever be damned to hell. You will not be able. That is the unforgivable sin. You will not be able to whatsoever go to heaven, and you cannot repent and God be like, oh, I'm okay, I'm gonna forgive you. No, that's not how this one works, you know. So now did I tell you? No, I didn't. But this right here is some really big information here. Remember how Adam and Eve were deceived in the garden, okay, by the serpent, and, you know, Eve laid down with the serpent, and she had twins. One was a seed of Cain, one was a seed of seed of Satan, and the other the seed of Adam, okay? Well, looking how it is, she, you know, was deceived and was able to get her old man deceived, okay? Well, I'm going to read you this last article because this is pretty important. In reality, except for himself and his wife, I don't think one single American voted for Joe Biden. They voted to remove Donald Trump. Makes no difference to them who occupies his seat, as long as the person who occupies the Oval Office will allow the radicals of the left and the BLM to continue in their unholy war to evict God and the Ten Commandments from the heart of America. Joe has already begun to use deceptive powers granted to him by the primordial serpent. All right. This is bad. Bad news. Trump has, while at the same time he embraces and emboldens Iran as his mentor, Barack Hussein had done while allowing them to continue with their diabolical plan to produce nuclear weapons, which would put the lives of over 6 million Jews in peril. How can you fight to protect the lives of unborn children and at the same time fight for the right of women to choose to kill them? Of course he can't. So why did he say that he can? No, he's not senile, but like the cunning serpent in the days of Adam and Eve, he speaks words that make no sense. President Trump would be given more time to complete the mission given by God. Okay. The rabbi stood by this prediction, predicting that Biden would not come to power. He cited the last vision in the book of Daniel in which the wicked are revealed. The founding fathers of the United States of America envisioned that our country would be a fulfillment of that dream. The rabbi explained that Trump is the final version of Esau that, in Rome, Edom undergoes the dramatic transformation described in the book of Daniel. After the transformation, Esau will fight for Jacob. Marin TV exposed a video showing Iranian President Hassan Rouhani claiming that no matter who wins the elections, the next U.S. administration will surrender to the Iranian people. They have no other path but to surrender to the laws, the regulations, to the pressure of the public opinion, and to the perseverance and resistance of the great nation. Our people will not stop. Adding that Tehran can force America to implement the laws, the regulations, one day. So remember how I've said about the Noahide laws, how back in September 25th, 29th, whatever it was, of 2019, was bringing back the Noahide laws, the sacrifice, that's when it came back. Well, this right here is when it's going to be ceased. Remember how I was saying within, by next year, March, whatever, the Passover timing, I believe this is when the Antichrist, around that timing, because it's the same timing as the Wormwood's supposed to come into play, that he's going to be gaining his power, to have a continuance of 42 months. Now, like I said, this is just part of this is my speculation, because obviously I was wrong. I know Trump won fair and square, so technically, yes, he won the election, but because good versus evil, we know that Biden got in. Now, as far as him actually making it all the way to inauguration, I don't know. I know, though, that we are in desperate, critical, terrible times, and we all need to be stocked up and prayed up. And so this is crucial. And okay, and with him wanting to change the laws and the times and stuff, that is, and to get America and Israel into one nation, one belief, which is one world religion, okay, where they're all Muslim believing. And even Israel 365 News, it says 138 nations in the U.S. passed 7 anti-Israel resolutions declare Temple Mount exclusively Muslim. I could read all this, but I think that I'm not, because my video is already quite long. Let me see. Hold on a second. All right, let me pause here. Okay, on Wednesday, a United Nations General Assembly Fourth Committee passed 7 resolutions condemning Israel without mentioning any transgressions by any other nation. One resolution refers to Jerusalem's Temple Mount solely by its Muslim name of Haram al-Sharif in a manner that seems to imply that the source of the massive bloodshed and humanitarian abuses perpetrated against Palestinians, which is Arabs who live in Israel, at the hands of the Israeli government. The UN, gravely concerned by the tensions and violence in the recent period through the occupied Palestinian territory, Israel, including East Jerusalem, and including with regard to the holy place of Jerusalem, including the Haram al-Sharif, and deploring the loss of innocent civilian life. The resolution declared the resolution concerning the Temple Mount does not mention Judaism by name, but mentions the significance of the holy sites and the importance of the city of Jerusalem for the three monotheistic religions. The UN today showed contempt for both Judaism and Christianity by passing a resolution that makes no mention of the name Temple Mount, which is Judaism's holiest site and which is sacred to all who venerate the Bible, in which the ancient temple was of central importance. Okay, and the resolution mirrors almost identical UNESCO's resolution that sparked controversy in 2016, and the resolutions called the Occupy Palestinian Resolution condemned Israel for failing to protect Muslims exclusively at the Temple Mount and the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron. Following the passing of the resolution, Israel officially cut all ties with UNESCO. All right. And then the resolution also called for full compliance with the Israeli-Palestinian agreements reached within the context of the Middle East process, including the Sharm el-Sheikh understandings and the implements of the Quartet roadmap to a permanent two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It should be noted that the Palestinian Authority openly declared that they have renegade on all these agreements and will no longer cooperate with Israel in any manner. This is terrible. The resolution also condemned Israel for constructing a security wall. The wall, in actuality, 90% of which is a chain link fence, was begun in 2002 in reaction to the Second Intifada, which killed over 1,000 Israelis and left thousands injured. Its construction had led to a drastic reduction in terrorism. Okay, and this is when it says that the walls will be built even in troublous times, which is in Daniel 9, 27, 24, something like that. All right, and it's important to know that this is just where we're at in prophecy. This is going to wage war, and it's going to be forced, and that is how this peace deal is going to be enacted. It's going to be war. War has to be waged, and then there's going to be peace by it because they're going to get so sick and tired of it. Okay, so everything that's boiled down is down to Muslim, the Sharia law. Okay, why do you think we have face coverings? Okay, remember how Sharia law, they wear the head coverings, and then they have the face coverings and things like that? It's getting to that point. I don't know how much longer we have. I know it's any time. And I trust that Jesus is going to protect each and every one of us from what is coming. So prepare your hearts, minds, and souls for the times that we are ahead. We are not appointed to wrath. So therefore, I know that our Redeemer is coming for us as he has promised. So if you're not saved, ask Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior today, because you're not promised tomorrow. And remember, 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4 is the gospel. It is the gospel plus nothing. It is faith plus nothing. Believe Jesus died. Believe who he says he is. Believe that he rose again on the third day, and that he is coming back, and that he loves you. Okay? Give up your life, conform to him. Matthew 6, 19-21. Okay? Just take your cross, take the cross that Jesus has, and follow him today. Okay? Not saying that you're not going to fall and stumble on the way, because you will, but you're not losing anything by gaining heavenly rewards, but you're going to lose everything by sticking around here. I know I'm about to say sayonara, suckers, because I'm about to go home. God bless y'all, and pray over this as always.